This is Thursday night. We're gathering together again for some prayer time. I trust everyone is doing well, and I hope that you're able to take some time, extra time this week to do some studying and reading concerning the things around Christ and His death, burial, and resurrection. I'm going to read a little bit of Scripture tonight just as we prepare to come before the Lord in prayer and bring our concerns, our requests, our joys, our praises to Him. But just to remind us about Christ, about who He is as God, as well as His own declaration as to why He came to be the sacrifice that God had intended for Him. Mary anoints Jesus. We're going to be looking at that passage in John chapter 12. We're also going to read a little bit from John chapter 13 as Jesus talks and lets the disciples know once again about the upcoming betrayal and His death and burial that needs to happen as part of God's plan. So I hope that you've gathered with some folks at your house if it's possible. If not, if you're by yourself, that's fine. You have an opportunity to pray. Just a reminder as well, we'll be, again, just connecting on YouTube on Sunday morning, Easter Sunday morning. As we do that, we're going to have Scripture reading. We're going to have, obviously, a message, some singing, and maybe some specials as well in there. So I hope you can enjoy that as well as worship through those opportunities. But also, just a reminder as well that we're going to continue this throughout the entire month of April. Also, Good Friday, obviously it's tomorrow. If you are able and desire to do so, you can come by the church and spend some time praying if you want. But I will have some prayer and fasting packets just to help guide some thoughts. They're not all inclusive, but they do give you some areas to pray for. They give you some scripture to think through, give you opportunity to pause and to listen to God and record what He might be sharing with you, telling you. So I trust that you'll take advantage of that. Even if you can't stop by and get the packet, if you'd like it via email, I can do that as well. So just let me know that you would like it, and I will be happy to email it to you. So let's pause this evening, and we're going to read a little bit from the Gospel of John. Gospel of John, chapter 12, verse 1 says, Jesus, therefore, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. So they made him a supper there, and Martha was serving, but Lazarus was one of those reclining at the table with him. Mary then took a pound of very costly perfume of pure nard, and anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, who was intending to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor people?" Now he said this not because he was concerned about the poor, but because he was a thief, and as he had the money box, he used to pilfer what was put into it. Therefore Jesus said, "Let her alone, so that she may keep it for the day of my burial. For you always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The large crowd of the Jews then learned that he was there, and they came not for Jesus' sake only, but that they might also see Lazarus, whom he raised from the dead. But the chief priests planned to put Lazarus to death also, because on account of him many of the Jews were going away and were believing in Jesus. So you see that as Jesus continued, people were coming to know him, and that was unacceptable to all those who wanted to get rid of Jesus. As we continue, Jesus, just a little bit later, with these words, in John chapter 13, verse 21, when Jesus had said this, he became troubled in spirit and testified and said, "Truly, truly, I say to you that one of you will betray me." The disciples began looking at one another at a loss to know of which one he was speaking. there was reclining on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. So Simon Peter gestured to him and said to him, "Tell us who it is of whom he is speaking." He, leaning back thus on Jesus' bosom, said to him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus then answered, "That is the one for whom I shall dip the morsel and give it to him." So when he had dipped the morsel, he took and gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. After the morsel, Satan then entered into him. Therefore Jesus said to him, "What you do, do quickly." Now no one of those reclining at the table knew for what purpose he had said this to him. For some were supposing, because Judas had the money box, that Jesus was saying to him, "Buy the things we have need of for the feast," or else that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the morsel, he went out immediately, and it was night. Therefore, when he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him immediately. Little children, I am with you a little while longer. You will seek me, and as I said to the Jews, now I also say to you, where I am going you cannot come. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another even as I have loved you, and that you also love one another. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus answered, "Where I go, you cannot follow me now, but you will follow later." Peter said to him, "Lord, why can I not follow you right now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus answered, "Will you lay down your life for me? Truly, truly, I say to you, a rooster will not crow until you deny me 3 times. So again, those scriptures, just to kind of help put us in the thought and perspective of what's going to be coming throughout the rest of this week in preparation for Easter Sunday. I hope you're taking advantage of some of the things that were put out on YouTube in regards to daily reading and meditation, kind of focusing on different events throughout the last week of Christ, primarily the last day or two of his life before he went to the cross and was put in the grave, leading up to his resurrection, which we will spend some time on Sunday talking about. So thanks for joining us tonight, for reading the scriptures, for spending time and taking the requests that you have and bringing them before the Lord. So now just spend the next however long you need to pray. You can pray obviously through all the requests on the sheet. Maybe you have some of your own concerns and issues that you would like to offer up. Please add those to your list. If you have any requests that you would like us to make sure get put on the list, please let us know what those are, and we will make sure they get added. Great, thanks, and have a good evening.